Okay. Consider an act on any request for adjustments or relief from the specific charges imposed by the district.
I don't have any.
We are consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda or are there changes?
I have a couple of things,
Okay,
please.
perfect.
Okay, if we go to page 4, item 20 in the minutes,
Uh-huh.
it should read Director Goodpaster made a motion, and then seconded by Director Gucci.
Thank you.
Okay, and then on page 5, item 23, I would recommend deleting the entire, all the wording, starting with considering, because all of this information is already laid out there under item 15 of the minutes.
I'm sorry. So the
So-
second number, item 2 on page 5.
No. After considering the information gathered, et cetera, SGRA recommends the following.
Okay.
Okay, so everything that follows that. Okay, delete, because we already have that, yeah, on page 3, under item 15. Okay,
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
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 Now-
I see what you're saying.
So I would then replace that with something I did refer to in my update. So as I referenced the directors to the Harris Galveston Subsidence District Spring Creek Watershed Subsidence Study. And there were links in the well, print out the links in the trustee meeting from last month. They're the only two.
But so should we remove the minutes from the approval so that they can bring them up to your,
Yes, from the consent agenda.
so,
Right. Last month, we did something different, but that's okay. But this is different. I
this
understand.
is a major, this is a bit of an
The
overall.
point of the consent agenda is, if there's, unless there's something to discuss on it, you approve it. If you want to discuss and make modifications, technically you pull it off. And then you approve it separately.
Or not.
Well,
I mean,
can't we approve a subject to the amendments being made or changes being made? Is that suitable? Is that appropriate
the
or?
staff,
Be a separate, yeah, be a separate motion. For the minutes to be revised. Correct.
Pulled out? Okay, so do I make a request then?
Yes.
Okay,
Full out of 5.
okay. As advised, I asked for that the item 5 be removed from the consent agenda and placed under the regular agenda.
okay. Second on that. All those in favor? Okay. So now, do I have a motion to amend, to approve the consent agenda?
I make that motion to approve the consent agenda.
All those in favor? Okay, so now, moving to the regular agenda, but we'll go to item 5 since that's the one we pulled. So for approval, okay?
Okay, so I think I gave you previously some of the suggestions.
Did the staff get those so that they can make those changes? That's my concern.
Sorry, I just came in.
Okay,
All
right. So if we go to
That's where I was headed with that whole discussion.
so we go to page 4, item 20 in the minutes. It should be Director Goodpaster made a motion and then seconded by Director Gucci. Okay. Right. And then on page 5 under item 23 of the minutes, delete everything following the word considering as the start of the second paragraph, because this information is already contained under item 15 on page 3 of the minutes. And then what I was going to suggest adding was that I did reference the directors to the Harris Galveston Subsidence District Spring Creek Watershed Subsidence Study, and where to get information on that. And that's it.
Okay.
So do we,
So
Brian, do we then vote to
approve the minutes as amended.
Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
I so move.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. All right. Item number 9, receive the regular monthly SJR Woodlands Division Report, pages 15 through 34.
Good afternoon, directors. I will be presenting our January Woodlands Division monthly operating report to you. We're pleased to let you know we had no violations or issues in the month of January. Also, in January, we know we had Winter Storm Fern upon us, and we had round-the-clock staff on site monitoring all our critical facilities and our equipment. And we had no issues during the storm, which was great news. One item to note, this January, our water production was the highest recorded over the past 10 years. So that was an interesting fact. And in the upcoming months, SJRA is preparing to present our 10-year project plan in May and the Woodlands Division budget in June to y'all. Also in your packets, you received a memorandum regarding the excess funds for 2025. The trustees did go ahead and vote to approve that rebate back to each of the MUDs. So at the end of February, as long as we're meeting that 90% threshold as outlined in that memo, we'll take that to our board in March, and then we should have those rebates in April or May back to the MUDs. You also have the GRP report in your packets, and I can entertain any questions you guys might have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 10, consider an act on pay application number 5 for the retail wastewater collection system rehabilitation year 2, pages 35 through 43.
Okay, if I could, take 10 and 11 together, they're both
Absolutely.
the same. So, pay estimate number, so this is the sanitary sewer rehabilitation project. You've had several pay estimates thus far. This is pay estimate number 5, in the amount of $125,951. Your portion from MUD 6 is $11,210. So, I recommend payment for your share of pay estimate number 5. And then also there is a change order number 1. Change order number 1 extends the contract time by 60 days, and then also has a deduct of the project scope due to some work that we did on their behalf, and then deducted it from that. We needed to get it done quicker. It was some road work. I need approval of estimate number 5 and change order number 1.
Yes.
Do we do that together or we do the, because of 2 separate items?
You can do it together.
Okay.
Right.
You can.
Either way.
Okay, item number,
It's separate motions, but most of these districts have been doing it as.
Okay.
So,
Just to be sure, we want to follow
Yeah.
your rules.
not my rules. I mean,
Robert's.
loosely.
We can do it.
okay, so
Okay.
item number 10, I'll clear this up. Item number 10, consider an act on pay application 5 for the retail wastewater collection system rehabilitation year 2. Do I have a motion to approve that?
I move to approve.
Do I have a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Item number 11, consider and or act on the Woodlands wastewater collection system rehabilitation year 2, change order number 1. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Item number 12, adoption of amended policy number RNS 12 regarding the rates for water service to reduce surface water conversion fee,
Yes, that's RNS 12 is your policy that documents your water sewer rates. So on the up for adoption is the adjustment of those to memorialize the 11-cent reduction in the GRP rate, and then also creating a infrastructure renewal fee of that same 11 cents.
Do I have a motion to approve that?
So moved.
Do I have a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, so item number 13, I'm going to ask that we move that to the next meeting because I thought Walt was going to be here to talk about this.
Okay.
Okay?
He didn't mention that to me, but I'm happy to remind him.
Yeah, so I would move that to the next month's meeting.
And I know, so it looks like we were including 36 in that discussion as well now.
Well, just as it came up in their meeting, not specifically about 1 and 6, but just that what would they need to do to possibly go to the voters for addressing their tax rates? And their tax rates are close to 1 and 6, not very far. And so I thought it might be worth having that conversation as 3. Man, it might make sense to just keep it at 1 and 3 if that, 1 and 6, if that goes forward. But I thought it was at least worth the discussion to bring them into that conversation because they're kind of looking at it too.
I thought Walt was going to be here to have that discussion. So
Okay.
that was the impression I got when he called me. So,
Okay. Remind him, he didn't mention. They did talk about it yesterday and I think they're interested. They didn't make any motions or anything, but just said, well, let's kind of research what it takes and see where the next steps are.
Maybe we can have some preliminary discussion and then keep it on next month's agenda.
Sure. Absolutely.
So with 36 being included in that, all 3 MUDs would have to vote to approve for that to pass.
If they joined that discussion, yes, they would all 3 need to approve.
Okay, so I guess that's something to keep in mind from a ballot measure standpoint. What would the timing be? Like, let's say we decide to move forward, how far out are we talking? Just because obviously there's quite a bit of things being discussed at the trustee level where I would assume we would still want to keep in mind the level of representation we have.
Yeah, so my understanding of when 2 and 40 combined to become MUD 1, that took about 18 to 24 months.
Took a good while.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly how long, but it took a good while.
And we also have a history of the failure of the proposed merger of 1 and 6.
I mean,
So
I think we've talked about it in the past. Like I supported the last measure. I think if it hadn't been on the ballot with incorporation at the same time, it might have gone differently. Do we still have any information from the previous efforts that we can kind of pull to expedite some of the discussion that I referred to?
I mean, in terms of what was on the ballot and what have you, yes.
Yeah, and then I'm assuming some of just the analysis leading up to that point as far as,
Yeah.
I have that memorialized.
so maybe we can
And
add that
probably-
to the discussion next month.
Probably MUD 1 should have that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I would think that.
that should be in the records of
Okay.
Total Water, I'm sure. But anyway,
Okay, so we'll for sure have it on the agenda for next month
Okay.
for
okay,
discussion, no
Discussion.
action.
discussion.
Okay. Okay. Item 14, discuss the information received from Bike the Woodlands Coalition regarding the underpass at Woodlands Parkway between Panther Creek Drive and East Panther Creek Drive.
Okay, could you pass these
Yeah,
maps
yeah.
along, and one for Brian and the other one for Eric? We have some left if someone's interested. So if I could lead up. here.
Go for it. Oh, absolutely.
Oh, okay. You're probably well aware that Bike the Woodlands made a presentation here some time ago, also to the Grogan's Mobility Association about extending some of the walking / biking trails from the Grogan's Mill area down to the Sawdust Park and Ride. What that meant, at least the initial look-see at this, was them placing some kind of underpass passage underneath Grogan's Mill Road and Sawdust Road in a similar fashion to the underpass for the A ditch on Woodlands Parkway. And the A ditch is indicated on the map that's in MUD 7. So, and you've got pictures of what that construction looks like. But I want to point something important out to you. The drainage area of the A ditch is relatively compact compared to drainage areas elsewhere in the woodlands. And so and correct me if I'm wrong, if Eric, if we start confining the flow under those two roads, we could have some issues in conveyance of water.
Potentially.
Right, and this is where I was wanting to have a discussion. If you check out your map, the 9X3 ditch is as marked, and you'll notice that there are other ditches contributing to the volumes that 9X3 is expected to carry, including all the ditches on the east side of Mud 36, that's the pinkish purple color, the Loggers Hollow ditch in the village, in Mud 6. So basically the area east of Grogan's Mill Road. So that entire, and you compare that area to the A ditch drainage area, and you have to consider for rainfall over those two areas, the volume that 9X3 ditch is expected to convey out of our area is much, much larger. And then from there, it goes down to the edge of Mud 36 and into Mud 36, Mud 46. That's the kind of orangey color mud, where it empties into Panther Branch. And my concern, this would be more of an amenity for people and not a necessity. What is needed is to ensure that any stormwaters are conveyed efficiently down to the main drainages in the area, including Panther Branch and Spring Creek. So I have concerns that any kind of structures and narrowing of the ditch under Grogan's Mill and under Sawdust might cause impairment of the capacity of that ditch to carry a major storm event, the water of a major storm event. But I would leave it to, and I have to add one more thing. I had delayed, like the Woodlands, in coming back to us because of the survey of all the ditches that was being conducted, which is now finished. And I don't know if there's any specific needs identified in that area of 9X3 in the vicinity of Grogan's Mill and Sawdust, that repairs or maintenance or something has to be done. But in any event, I think this ditch is way too important to provide a dual use, as it were, an amenity and critical flood conveyance system. So, but I would hand it to you, Eric, for assessment and concurrence, of course, to make a determination on the appropriateness or otherwise of any amenity type structure
Okay.
on that ditch, or in that ditch, I should say.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you're gonna build something into a ditch, you're going to likely reduce its flow capacity. That's just a general statement, not specific to this. I think in order to know that for sure, I think it would probably need to be modeled. That would be a pretty hefty endeavor, I think, to engage an engineering firm to confirm how much of the impact it could be. But certainly if you're gonna start building something in the flowway of the ditch, it's definitely gonna have an effect.
But it's not in our purview, as it were, to build an amenity type system. We're responsible for drainage. It's the township, I believe, that would be the player in providing these kinds of amenities for residents. Am I correct?
I think where it would come into play for us is that they're proposing to do something in our ditch. That's obviously where it crosses over. So
Yeah.
whether it came from the bike coalition or whether it came from the township but through the township back to the same determination will still need to be made if there's something that the district wants to look at.
But certainly Mud 6 should not be responsible for putting any sort of engineering bill to evaluate.
Absolutely.
Okay. There's absolute needs,
Sure.
which we are responsible for. There's a want, which we're not responsible for.
Right.
So it's clear to me that I would not recommend any undertaking spending dollars to evaluate or do anything.
Yeah, presumably CT would have to figure out how that would be, even the engineering side of it would have to be funded.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
I think last we spoke, they hadn't yet to engage the township directly
Right.
on it or formally on it,
Right.
right? I think,
They done that yet?
I don't believe so, but I mean, this is the first communication which I had Shelley forward onto you all in quite some time. So my sense is this is a nice to have, but it has nothing to do with us.
do we know if they, I think when this initially came up, we were trying to identify which entity was responsible for that area directly southeast of Mud Six's territory? Because it wasn't, obviously the
Yeah.
area is not Mud Six.
Yeah,
You know, if there's been.
you mean south of Sawdust Road?
Correct.
Yeah, the only part that I can think of is when we get beyond the Walmart Supercenter, that would be in Mud 46 all the way down to Panther Branch. Now, the bit that's in
between there.
in between, I mean, is that county or I'm not sure. But it seems that may well be the county. So there's some questions
Right.
Regarding that.
So the purpose of this discussion is to find out if we're interested in helping them get their want as opposed to the needs, or what?
Well, I wanted to make sure we had the discussion. We recognize that a major engineering study has to be undertaken if indeed this is going to go any further. And it's not part of our purview to undertake that.
I don't think you're getting any disagreement from us.
Okay, so the question then is messaging back to like the Woodlands. I will recommend that we advise them of this discussion, and it's on the video, so refer them to the video, and they probably would need to approach the township
I would think so.
to move this forward should they choose to do that.
Yeah, and likely the county based on.
Oh,
Yeah,
and the county. Yes, indeed. Yes.
Yep.
Does that seem a reasonable?
Just me,
Sure. Okay, so we have no action here.
No.
We have had our discussion.
right?
So,
You have your marching orders?
okay, I really would want to get with you, Eric, so I can word it appropriately.
Okay.
Without encumbering us necessarily in generalized statements that
Sure.
may not be accurate.
Okay.
Okay, but I'll do a draft and pass it to you.
Sounds good.
County's report?
Not much outside of elections. Filing period, of course, ended on Friday. Mud Six does have a contested election. 4 applications were received for 2 positions, assuming that those, we don't have any withdrawals between now and the deadline to withdraw applications on Friday. Then we will be proceeding with the drawing for the lots and where you'll be positioned on the ballot. That will take place on Monday. Shelley, I believe, has already posted the notices that were required to go out today and also sent those out by either mail or email, depending on the contact information that was provided in the candidate applications. So that will take place on Monday. And then from there, we'll proceed with coordinating with the county on the election details. That's all I have. Happy to answer questions if you have them.
Thank you.
Thank you.
General Manager's report?
All right, a couple things to go over. Wanted to give you a heads up that the trustee meeting, I informed them of my recommendation that we'll, it wasn't on the agenda, but we'll be looking at in the March trustee meeting to possibly request of the GRP an increase in our surface water take from 50 to 55% or so. So that's coming, that'll be in March. The idea behind that is there's been a number of municipalities around Montgomery County that have recently requested additional capacities that is starting to reduce the available capacity left. And I think it's important as we have the opportunity without triggering any disinfection byproducts up to 55 or so percent, that we ought to do it. At least make that recommendation or request officially. So that's kind of the direction that I'm going to be heading to trustees in March. Want to let you know, on our, when we looked at the budget last year, we talked about building a ditch crew and talked about having those guys do some of the minor work in the ditches while we had subcontractors do the bigger work. We've been working, we hired an individual last winter, probably November-ish, and then kind of been slow in getting interviews and resumes in. We attended the Conroe Lake Conroe Chamber Career Fair a week or two ago and got some great resumes, put out 3 different offers, all 3 accepted. So they'll be starting here in the next couple of weeks. We'll do some training and then we'll get them up and running on the intended work that we had talked about. In the meantime, the other work has already started. That started last fall with some of the pipe repairs and some of the brush clear back is ongoing right now throughout a number of different districts. So you obviously have some of that that's going on. Give you an update on the SFDB evaluation that we've been doing for water reclamation facility number 1. Task was to look at all of the allocations related to that service area for the treatment plant, just to see if it was consistent with the information that Reese Nichols had given us a year or so ago. And so Kim and I are complete with that. We had a meeting with Howard Hughes to verify the allocations, kind of an update of the 6th and final as what has transpired over the last 9 years. And so as far as crystal balling certain undeveloped properties and what was contemplated versus what is contemplated now. So we just got that information back this week, and Kim and I are working to update the database that we built to incorporate those new changes. Once that's complete, hopefully by the end of this week or early next week, we'll be meeting with Central Authority, kind of show them what we found. And then what we anticipate, if everything goes as planned, is to bring that information back to the trustees and the boards in March. From there, don't know if there'll be an all muds likely or something like that, probably after that, but we'll see where the next step is at that point. We'll go from there. Wanted to let you know that we had engaged our consultant to renew the water and sewer rate study that we did back in 2023. As you recall, we did a study back in 2023. We adjusted rates in 2024, and I had indicated that likely we'll probably do that every 2 or 3 years. So it's time to do it, and we expect to get information back in order for us to budget later in the summer. And then if there are any changes, they'll likely be implemented in January 2027. So more to come from that. Just want to let you know that that's moving forward. Wanted to point out to you in the packet several customer letters and emails that we received.
Yeah,
Great.
very positive.
Yeah.
It's pretty significant to me when someone goes to the extent of actually writing a letter and putting a stamp on it and put it, that means a lot.
Seriously.
So absolutely. And the last thing I had is actually the next thing on the agenda, which is the global amendment. We talked about that last month, about just getting any comments to me back by this week, and then they're due to Estuary by the end of the month. In the meantime, I reached out to Aubrey Spear, the GM for Estuary, and asked if we could maybe have a meeting with interested directors, up to 2 directors, to attend a short meeting with him to get some insight into kind of how we got here and what the global amendment really means and what the intent is. So he's agreed to do that. And so I'd asked for up to 2 individuals that might want to participate. We're anticipating that the meeting will either be next Wednesday or Friday, or possibly early the following week would be the optional days. And Shelley will send out a doodle form to get the scheduling worked on.
Not, there will be,
I'm traveling the next 2 weeks.
That's you and me.
Okay. Sound good?
Yeah, yeah.
Wednesday or Friday, right?
Wednesday or Friday, not both days.
That's what we're shooting for. I mean, I know that he has, their SJ board meeting on Thursday. so
Oh, yeah.
Wednesday may be a little packed for him, I would assume, but we'll see.
Okay, consider and act on the district's annual update to the residents.
Howdy.
Right.
John?
Before we dig into that, I just wanted to note you have a communications report on page 66. A couple quick highlights from that. We will be sending out a community survey here very shortly. Let that run for a few weeks. I should have results from that at your April meeting. We are assessing community knowledge and opinion votes. It's something we've been doing annually for the last few years. Got a number of performance metrics on our various outlets. So if you have any questions on any of that, the terminology or stats, please let me know. And then I'll also point you to the in-person outreach calendar on page 70. We're starting to fill that out as spring comes on. All right, so the update, hopefully you had a chance to see this via email. I just wanted to go through it one more time. We can still make changes, of course. Ideally, we get this approved today so we can get it to printer on time for the February bill. So are there any comments, thoughts, questions?
I personally thought it was really well done.
Oh, good.
Would it be
Thank you.
appropriate to squeeze any election info into there?
You know, I think we can. I think we could trim a little bit from your about Mud 6. There is some redundancy there. Like maybe that fourth paragraph,
Do you guys have any feelings on that?
or let me see. I'm sorry, the third paragraph is kind of redundant with what you have in that QR there. We could trim that.
Oh, yeah.
One, right? Yeah.
What would the content be?
Yeah. My question.
Something benign, just information on timing of the election.
We've done that in at least one other update where we simply said mud elections are being held,
Send it out.
the date,
Oh, yeah.
and then we could send them to your mud page for more mud specific election information. There, they can find a number of documents, but and then we really push them to the county,
Sure.
right? So minimal information, very high level.
Yep.
Push them to the county. Yeah.
So do I have a motion to approve this with the change?
One more note, I
Oh,
think
sorry.
what we did in that other update, I'm forgetting the mud right now, but shall I help you with one? We just noted that there were, for that mud, 2 board positions on the ballot.
Mhm.
And then again, push them away for more information.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
Would you want to note that?
Yeah, I think it's fair. It's
Yeah.
very high level and
How many do we have?
two. I want to note that also that John
Yeah.
did verify all the financial numbers.
We did, and Neil was a huge help. He worked with me a lot on this. But yeah, Jeannie's reviewed everything on the tax side. And Eric and Marine vetted information, so.
I'll make a motion to approve with that adjustment.
Do I have a second? Second. All those in favor?
All right,
Thank you.
Thank you.
thanks, John.
Thank you very much. The trustees report?
Okay, go to page 71. Let's see, of note, there is a meeting tomorrow evening being held by the San Jacinto Regional Flood Planning Group. You'll see that under the heading. One of a number of open houses that they are holding. Draft flood hazard maps will be available for review at that meeting, and they are seeking feedback as to whether or not they are reasonably accurate in portraying flood hazard. The address is there. It's what's not on here. It's scheduled for 5 p.m., 5 to 7 p.m. But given the traffic on 45, if you're going there, I would leave early.
Yeah.
And if there aren't any questions, There's a report.
Any questions? Any reason to go to,
There's not.
any item for the next month's meeting?
Just the month 6, yeah, we got that already.
Any?